You just paid $23 for a burger, fries, and a drink at a chain restaurant. 5 years ago, that same meal was $14. The burger arrived smaller, the fries were cold, and a service fee you never agreed to showed up on the receipt. You tipped anyway because the tablet was watching. Something broke in the restaurant industry, and it happened so fast most people think they're imagining it. They're not. This video breaks down exactly why eating out in America feels like a scam right now, and why the food often tastes worse than it costs. We're counting down the 10 biggest reasons the industry shifted from feeding people to extracting maximum cash from every transaction. You'll learn which hidden fees are illegal in some states, why your favorite dishes suddenly taste different, and how restaurants use your own guilt against you at checkout. This isn't about shaming workers or owners. It's about understanding a system that changed its priorities. Let's start at number 10 and work our way to the single biggest problem poisoning the entire experience right now. Number 10, labor costs exploded, but not in the way you think. Minimum wage increases get all the attention, but the real story is turnover. The average restaurant now loses its entire staff every 8 months. Training a new line cook costs about $2,000 when you factor in wasted food, slower service, and the time experienced workers spend teaching instead of cooking. Multiply that across every position, and you see why even chains with standardized processes are hemorrhaging money on human resources. The pandemic made it worse. People left food service and didn't come back. Now restaurants compete with warehouses and delivery gigs that pay better and don't require smile discipline. So wages went up, yes, but the quality of available workers also dropped. Restaurants hire undertrained people, rush them onto the floor, and hope customers don't notice. You notice. That's why your order is wrong more often. Number 9, dynamic pricing is coming for your dinner. Airlines have done it for years. Hotels perfected it. Now restaurants are testing software that changes menu prices based on time of day, weather, how busy they are, and even how desperate they think you are. Some chains already use it for delivery apps. They charge more during lunch rush and drop prices at 3 in the afternoon. The in-person version is rolling out slower because customers aren't used to it yet. But it's coming. The logic is pure profit maximization. If people will pay $18 for wings on Friday night, why charge $14? The restaurant doesn't care that you paid less last Tuesday. They care about squeezing every margin. You'll start seeing paper menus disappear entirely, replaced by QR codes that link to prices that aren't printed anywhere. No accountability, no consistency, just algorithms hunting your wallet. Number 8, ingredient fraud is everywhere and inspection can't keep up. That red snapper you paid $32 for? Probably tilapia. The olive oil in your pasta? Cut with soybean oil. Kobe beef? Regular beef with a fake certificate. Studies show that up to 30% of seafood is mislabeled in American restaurants. It's not always intentional. Suppliers lie to distributors, distributors lie to restaurants, restaurants don't test anything because testing costs money. But plenty of owners know exactly what they're serving. They bet you won't notice, and they're usually right. The average diner can't tell the difference between real Parmesan and the wood pulp blend that comes pre-grated. Truffle oil hasn't seen a real truffle in its life. It's synthetic flavoring in canola oil. The savings are massive. The taste difference is minimal if you've never had the real thing. So restaurants pocket the gap and keep printing "wild caught" on menus. Number 7, shrinkflation hit restaurants harder than grocery stores, and they're hiding it better. Your burger didn't shrink, the patty did. 5 ounces became 4. The bun got fluffier to fill space. Fries come in taller containers with thicker bottoms. Pasta portions dropped from 12 ounces to 9, but the plate got bigger so it looks full. This isn't new, but the speed ramped up. Prices climbed while portions fell, a double hit customers only notice when they're still hungry after a meal that cost $30. Suppliers squeezed restaurants by raising prices on everything from beef to napkins. Restaurants couldn't raise menu prices fast enough without scaring people off, so they quietly trimmed what you actually get. Cheese on nachos? Thinner layer? Chicken in your salad? 3 ounces instead of 5. The menu says the same words. The experience delivers less. Nobody announces shrinkflation. You just feel ripped off and can't explain why. Number 6. The appification of dining turned every meal into a data harvest with fees attached. Restaurants now lose up to 30% of each order to delivery apps. They raise menu prices on those apps to cover it, so you pay more for the same food. Then the app adds a delivery fee, a service fee, a small order fee, and suggests a tip before you've even seen your food. Restaurants also launched their own apps, which are just as bad. They want your location, your email, your purchase history, and they'll offer a free appetizer to get it. That data gets sold to marketing firms. Your eating habits become a commodity. Meanwhile, the apps prioritize restaurants that pay for promotion, not restaurants with good food. The whole system exists to extract fees and information. The food is secondary. Restaurants participate because they're terrified of losing visibility. If you're not on the apps, younger customers assume you don't exist. Number 5. Tipping culture became emotional hostage-taking with a tablet. The tablet flips around. The suggested tips start at 20%. There's no tip button, just custom tip, which means you have to type 0 while someone watches. The pressure is intentional. Companies that make these systems know guilt drives payments. They've tested it. The default tip suggestions crept up from 15 to 18 to 20 to 22%, even for counter service where no one brought you anything. You ordered at a register, carried your own food, bussed your own table, and the system still asks for a quarter of the bill. Workers didn't choose this. Most would rather get paid a real wage. But owners love it because they can advertise lower menu prices while outsourcing labor costs to customer guilt. If you don't tip, you're the bad guy, even though the owner is the one refusing to pay wages. Tips now subsidize even back-of-house staff in some places, which is illegal in many states but nearly impossible to enforce. Number 4. Rent and real estate costs pushed restaurants into trash locations with trash deals. Landlords noticed restaurants were desperate. They raised rents 30, 40, 50%. Restaurants that couldn't pay got evicted. The space sat empty for a year, then reopened as another restaurant paying even more. This cycle killed neighborhood spots and replaced them with chains that could afford corporate backing. Independent places moved to cheaper areas with less foot traffic, worse parking, and no visibility. So they spent more on advertising and delivery just to get noticed. Meanwhile, ghost kitchens exploded. These are commercial kitchens with no dining room, no storefront, just a dozen fake restaurant brands operating out of one kitchen. They exist only on delivery apps. You think you're ordering from a local taco place. You're actually ordering from a warehouse kitchen running 15 brands at once. It's cheaper for operators, but it destroyed the idea of a real restaurant with a real identity. Everything became generic, optimized, soulless. Number 3, food costs spiked because the supply chain is held together with duct tape and prayer. Diesel prices jumped. Trucks cost more to run. Drivers are in short supply. Warehouses are understaffed. Every step from farm to restaurant got more expensive, and every player in the chain took their cut. Restaurants can't negotiate. They're too small. Cisco and US Foods control most of the distribution. If you don't like their prices, good luck finding another supplier who delivers to your area. Weather disasters made it worse. Droughts killed crops. Floods delayed harvests. Avocados tripled in price one year because of cartel violence in Mexico, but restaurants didn't tell you that. They just charged more for guacamole. Chicken prices exploded during bird flu outbreaks. Beef costs climbed because of feed prices and drought. Restaurants absorbed what they could, then passed the rest to you. But they also used inflation as cover to raise prices more than costs required, padding profit while blaming supply chains. Number 2. Private equity bought your favorite restaurants and optimized the soul right out of them. A private equity firm buys a beloved local chain. They promise nothing will change. Then they renegotiate every supplier contract, swap premium ingredients for cheaper alternatives, cut staff, reduce training, close underperforming locations, and install systems to monitor every ounce of food waste. The food tastes different. The service gets worse. Prices stay the same or rise. Customers complain online. The firm doesn't care. They're not trying to run a good restaurant. They're trying to extract maximum cash for 3 to 5 years, then sell it to another firm or take it public. Olive Garden, Red Lobster, Subway, and dozens of others went through versions of this. The pattern is always the same. Buy it. Slash costs, raise prices, ignore complaints, sell. The people running these firms have never worked a dinner rush. They see spreadsheets, not customers. McDonald's pioneered a strategy that the entire fast food industry copied, and it's the number one reason eating out feels broken. They stopped competing on value and started competing on how much they could charge before you'd stop coming. 20 years ago, fast food was cheap. That was the point. You traded quality for speed and price. Now a Big Mac meal costs $12 in some cities. That's not fast food. That's just food that happens to be fast. The value menu disappeared or got filled with items nobody wants. Promotions became app exclusive, forcing you to download software that tracks your location. Franchisees got squeezed by corporate, so they cut labor, reduced hours, locked dining rooms, and made drive-thrus the only option. Quality collapsed. Meat sits under heat lamps longer. Vegetables come pre-sliced days ago. Ice cream machines stay broken because the maintenance contract is designed to break them. This wasn't an accident. It was a choice. McDonald's realized they had brand loyalty and convenience on their side. They could raise prices, cut quality, and most customers would grumble but keep coming because it's easy. Other chains saw it work and followed. Burger King raised prices. Wendy's cut portions. Taco Bell removed menu items and charged more for what remained. The entire industry decided that maximizing short-term profit was smarter than keeping customers happy long-term. They're not wrong from a shareholder perspective. Stock prices went up, executive bonuses got paid, but the customer experience became a nightmare. You're paying sit-down prices for food assembled by someone making minimum wage in a kitchen that hasn't been deep cleaned in a month. Starbucks followed the same playbook in coffee. They built loyalty, then weaponized it. A latte that cost $3.50 in 2010 costs $7 now in many locations. They added cold foam, extra shots, oat milk, and other customizations that sound premium but cost pennies. Then they charged you $2 extra for them. The menu became a psychological maze designed to upsell. Sizes got confusing. Tall, grand, venti. Why not small, medium, large? Because confusion makes you default to medium, which is grand, which costs more. Mobile ordering made it worse. You can't see the total until after you've added everything. By then, you're committed. Employees are timed on speed, not quality. Drinks get made wrong. You don't complain because you're already late. Starbucks knows this. They've studied it. The store layout, the menu, the app, the rewards program, every detail is engineered to separate you from more money per visit. Chipotle got caught red-handed with portion shrinkage so bad that customers started filming their bowls and posting comparisons online. The company denied it at first, then admitted some locations were underportioning to control costs. But that's corporate speak for stealing from customers. You paid $10 for a burrito bowl. You expected a standard amount of food. Instead, you got 70% of what the menu promised because some regional manager decided hitting food cost targets mattered more than honesty. Chipotle isn't alone. Panera Bread shrank their sandwiches. Subway's footlong wasn't a footlong. Domino's reduced cheese coverage on pizzas. Every chain does some version of this. They test how much they can take away before complaints hit social media hard enough to matter. Then they pull back slightly, wait for outrage to fade, and creep portions down again. It's a cycle. The real problem is that restaurants stopped viewing customers as people to feed and started viewing them as resources to extract. Every menu decision, every app feature, every suggested tip amount is designed with one question. How do we get more money per transaction? Not how do we make better food? Not how do we create an experience people love? Just how do we maximize revenue before they notice and leave? And they've gotten good at it. Behavioral psychology, data analytics, market segmentation. The industry hired people who used to optimize casinos and phone games. They brought those tactics into restaurants. Limited time offers create false urgency. Rewards programs create sunk cost fallacy. Upsells are buried in the ordering flow where you'll say yes without thinking. Casual dining chains like Applebee's and Chili's tried to fight back with value menus and discounts, but they're trapped. They can't lower prices without looking desperate. They can't raise quality without spending money they don't have. So they're stuck in a slow death spiral where they cut costs, lose customers, cut costs more, lose more customers. Their food tastes like it was designed by a committee that never ate together. Everything is pre-cooked, reheated, microwaved, or assembled from frozen. The kitchen staff aren't chefs, they're reheaters. And you can tell, the pasta is gummy, the steak is chewy. The vegetables are mush, but it's cheap enough that families still go for birthdays, and that's the only thing keeping them alive. Fast casual chains like Sweetgreen and Cava tried to position themselves as healthier, fresher, better. And they are, slightly. But they also charge $14 for a salad that costs them $3 to make. The margins are obscene. They rely on the health halo effect. You feel good about eating there so you don't question the price. Meanwhile, the supply chain is almost identical to cheaper competitors. Same distributors, same farms, same logistics. The difference is marketing and vibes. The store is clean, the lighting is nice, employees look happy. You assume that means the food is worth more. It's not. You're paying for the aesthetic. Pizza chains entered a race to the bottom on price, and quality went with it. $5 pizzas, $6 pizzas, carry-out deals. The pizza costs less than the box it comes in. How? Cheese is cheese adjacent. Sauce is mostly water and tomato paste. Dough is flour and air. Toppings are whatever's cheapest that week. The business model is volume. Make 100 pizzas an hour with skeleton crews and rock-bottom ingredients. Profit comes from soda, breadsticks, and delivery fees. The pizza is just bait. And it tastes like bait. Cardboard crust, flavorless sauce, cheese that congeals into plastic the moment it cools, but people keep ordering because it's easy and it's cheap, and they've been conditioned to expect nothing better. Here's what all of this adds up to. Eating out in America is expensive because the industry decided it could be. It's bad because quality doesn't affect profit enough to matter. Customers complain online, but they still show up. Restaurants learned they can coast on convenience and habit. The pandemic should have been a reset. It wasn't. It was an excuse to make everything worse and blame supply chains. Prices went up. Quality went down. Fees multiplied. Tipping became mandatory. Portions shrank. Ingredients got swapped. And nobody in charge cared because the money kept coming. You can't fix this by voting with your wallet unless millions of people do it at once, and that won't happen. The system is too embedded. Apps control visibility. Landlords control locations. Suppliers control costs. Private equity controls chains. The individual customer has almost no leverage. But you can protect yourself. Stop using delivery apps unless you have no choice. Cook more at home. When you do eat out, pick independent spots that aren't owned by conglomerates. Ask questions about ingredients. Call out shrinkflation when you see it. Leave honest reviews. Tip workers directly in cash when possible so the restaurant can't skim it. The biggest takeaway is this. The restaurant industry changed its priorities and no one asked you. It used to be about feeding people good food at fair prices. Now it's about extracting maximum revenue per customer using every psychological trick available. That's why it feels broken. Because it is. If this video made you think twice before ordering delivery, or helped you understand why your favorite spot doesn't taste the same, hit the like button. Drop a comment and tell me which restaurant betrayed you the hardest. Was it a chain that shrunk portions? A local place that doubled prices? I want to hear your stories. Share this with anyone who keeps wondering why eating out feels like a scam now. And if you want more videos breaking down systems that don't work the way they should, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.